Shisha. Alrighty then. We are good to go and we are getting going. So, what are we looking at this evening? I play a lot of control and slow, dirty mid-range decks. However, every now and then, gotta get out of your comfort zone. Makes you a better player in general to try something that is not your normal deck. So what we're trying today is Izzet Wizards in Pioneer. So if we're gonna have to go up against the likes of Blue-Black Inverter and Lotus Breach and all sorts of wombo-y, combo-y goodness, there's nothing like a good tempo burn deck to make you feel like the smart player. So what we've got going on here, so we've got a lot of one-drop red creatures, and then also Stormchaser Mage with the prowess mechanic. So every time we cast a non-creature spell, these creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. So Swiftspear has haste. Soul-Scar Mage has a really exciting ability, which we will see go into action from time to time against larger creatures, enabling our burn spells to get those things the heck out of the way. And Stormchaser Mage has flying and haste, so it's a pretty neat little creature. Had a momentary splash in Legacy with just being part of a sort of tempo burn deck. We've also got Dreadhorde Arcanist. So Dreadhorde Arcanist has 1 power, trample, and whenever it attacks, you can cast an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost less than or equal to its power from your graveyard without paying that card's mana cost. So every time we attack with Dreadhorde Arcanist, we get to cast one of our Opts, or our Crash Throughs, or our Shocks, or our Wild Slashes for free, and any prowess creatures we have are going to get their bonus from that. Additionally, we have cards like Crash Through that give our creatures trample and draw a card. We've got Opt, which draws us a card with a Scry 1, so good filtering there. And then we've got some just quality burn spells in Wizard's Lightning, which with the number of wizards in our deck, I believe it's at least 14, is going to be our Pioneer legal copy of Lightning Bolt. Then we got Light at the Stage for a little bit more card draw. Hazoret hanging out at the top end just to get us through some of the longer, grindier matchups against some of the decks that can try to throw down with us. And then we get to play a standard staple from Mono Blue Tempo, Curious Obsession. We get to throw that on any of our creatures that are going to consistently get through over and over and over again. We can burn creatures out of the way to ensure we keep getting through for 1 extra damage, but more importantly, every time that creature hits a player, we get to draw a card. So we want to get their creatures out of the way as consistently as we can to keep the card draw flowing. Then we've got an interesting sideboard here with just lots of copies of different bits of counter magic here. Treasure Cruise for the longer, grindier matchups. Goblin Chainwhirler for if we need to get rid of multiple 1-toughness blockers all at once, whether that be a white deck or a green deck that has mana elves. We've got Scab-Clan Berserker, which is insane against decks like Lotus Breach that are going to cast a lot of spells. Abrade to deal with creatures with 3 toughness or artifacts. Reckless Rage for creatures with 4 toughness. We get to abuse the same kind of interaction that the Feather deck will, which is Reckless Rage and Dreadhorde Arcanist. And then we've got wonderful modern Grixis control sideboard staple Izzet Staticaster that can clear out lots of different 1-toughness creatures all at once. It's got some great synergy with Soul-Scar Mage, and it can also team up with our other burn spells to get through some larger creatures. So this league should be a little quicker than a lot of the ones that we normally play on this channel. And we're going to hop into a Pioneer League and see how this deck feels. This is the deck list that won GP Nagoya, I believe it was. And there was an excellent write-up, which I will include in the video on YouTube, in the description under the video, that was on, there we go, tcgplayer.com, written by Adam Yurchik. And we're going to be using the sideboard guide that they have there, as well as using a little bit of critical thinking of our own to just make sure that all of those decisions are consistent with what I would think would make sense for the given matchup. So let's hop on into match number 1. Match number 1. Lost the die roll, so not the best start for our aggressive little deck, but we got a really good opening hand, so let's hope we're against something a little dirty. Island from our opponent with a really sweet, what? Rob Alexander, you consistently my heart, Rob, you got it. It's all yours. Opt, in response, Well, at least they have the invasion opt. So they did cast the superior opt. I don't. I own these copies in paper, but not on Moto. So I gotta deal with whatever the rental service will give me. Blue black. Thassa's Oracle coming down early, so it looks like we might be against Inverter here. Gonna get to go over this Oracle with our Stormchaser Mage this turn, and then next turn, well, we'll see how that's going. So not the best draw there. Definitely looking a little flooded. Hopefully we can pick up our one copy of Hazoret reasonably soon. 3 lands in the opener was not bad, but drawing 2 back-to-back does not feel great. We do have the mana to play both these Monastery Swiftspears and light up the stage this turn, though, so that's not bad. And the stock Inverter lists don't often play a sweeper, so here's hoping that we're just going to eat a Fatal Push here on one of our creatures and then get through and get to light up the stage a little bit. Post-combat light up the stage obviously doesn't feel the best, but we're going to take what we can get here. See you jam, sucker, you got nothing on me. Alright, it's going to be something weird, like maybe a negate here? Always yield. Always yield. And always yield. Use the power of Moto, friends. Use the power of Moto. So our cards in exile are Wizard's Lightning and Sulfur Falls. So we got a land drop for next turn, as well as a nice little Wizard's Lightning that we can fire off. They post-combat Hero's Downfall Soul-Scar Mage. I guess I'll take it. So hopefully they don't just jam an Inverter down our throat here. They did not. Good. Hopefully they're being conservative against our hidden, shameful draw. Not shocking this time. Makes sense. Oof, that is a rough one. 20 land deck. Definitely having a little bit of flooding problem here. Kind of goofed there. Should have just done that pre-combat. It's fine. We're coming in for 6. Coming in reasonably hot. Maybe medium warm. Like if you go in for a curry at like, you know, an Indian place, but you're white like me, and you say you want it hot, but then they don't actually give it to you hot, and then you really got to specify next time. And it's like, no, I really, I can take it, man. I can take it. All right, what do you got? Dig through time. Yeah, that's going to be a toughie. So we are going to get to put them down to at minimum 6. If we draw a Wizard's Lightning, we can put them to 1. It's possible they're digging for another Fatal Push here. So that would be less than ideal if they do hit it. They are down to 2 cards in hand, but they're going up to 4. Good chance there's going to be a push, and then it is entirely possible they can combo us out of this game next turn. Alright. Got the Swiftspear. I'm going to keep playing out lands for now. Sometimes I like holding on to the lands from this point because it just feels a little bit easier to bluff people when you have 2 or 3 cards in hand instead of like 1. But in this case, if we eventually do draw a Hazoret, we might need to start pitching lands right away. Alright, they've got the Oracle right away? No, they do not. Okay, so they've got Oracle or something else in hand, so we really need to win the game right now. Cast light up the stage. Hopefully this flips some burn spells. Wild Slash, I think that's going to do it. So the light up the stage made our creatures 2 power. Wild Slash gets them to 3 power, and we're jamming in here. Any unblocked creature is going to make it happen, and we got there. So even though we flooded out pretty hard in that game, we did manage to get there against one of the big bad boogeymen of the format. So Mystical Dispute's going to come in off the sideboard. Now let's go check out this sideboarding guide that I have. So they say 4 Dispute, 1 Stroke, 1 Pierce, 1 Treasure Cruise. So 1 Pierce, 1 Stroke, and 1 Cruise. So we're basically bringing in every blue card off our sideboard. And 4 Wild Slash and 4 Shocks going out. No surprise there. These don't really kill any of the creatures in their deck. Out of all the cards in this deck that I would have thought to bring out, maybe Crash Through, because there's a good chance that we're not going to be able to get big enough to trample over a Thassa's Oracle, and we're certainly not getting big enough to trample over a Inverter of Truth. However, I'm going to trust the maker of this deck, that is. Not Anakin Skywalker. Okay, and gonna go ahead and shock the Steam Vents on turn 1. Gives me access to blue mana painlessly from here on out. Not likely to be a game that's going to be very hit point focused from our side of things, but we'll see. I would like to draw a piece of disruption within the next 2 turns, let's say. So our turn 2 is going to be Swiftspear Jam. Legion's End. Well, that is incredibly lucky from our opponent. Wow. Yeah. I don't even. Wow. Yeah. What can you do? And we boarded out our shocks and our wild slashes, so we have no quick way to kill that. I guess we'll go to game 3 on the play. I guess that's where we're headed, because I would hazard a guess we're not likely to win this one down 3 cards like that. Good lord. You can only imagine what this game would be like. I guess it would be even worse, I guess, if we were on the play. I guess I'm going to counter this Thoughtseize because I don't want them to take my Curious Obsession. If I draw a Stormchaser Mage or the 4th Swiftspear, I guess we can get in there for 2 and 3, I guess, because it'll trigger and draw a card. But this is not looking good. Are they missing land drops? Please tell me they're listening. Okay, so they're missing land drops, so we've got that going for us, which was almost kind of okay, except we can't seem to draw anything. We're just flooding out unbelievably. I guess we could Hazoret off the top at some point, and if they don't have a way to exile it, and somehow they don't have a way to counter it, we'll be okay at that point. Soul-Scar Mage is pretty likely to die here. I guess I'm going to throw down 1 more land. We do have 4+2, so we can almost play Hazoret and start throwing cards. We can't yet. So, what do you got? Is this dig through time? Pretty likely to scoop to. Yeah, I'm just going to scoop to the dig. Turn 2 Legion's End for a 3-for-1. Just a little bit too much to handle on that game. That was unreal. So I don't really think that that's something we need to be cognizant of so much as we just need to get things to break a little more our way in this game. This is not the best hand. A single creature is not really where I want to be in this matchup. But I'm going to trust that this deck can draw us into more gas. Gonna jam the turn 1 crash through so that hopefully on turn 3 when we attack with this Arcanist, we can draw a card with it. Opponent mulligans to 6, so not the worst thing in the world. And as game 1 proved, this deck can really surprisingly win with a good number of land draws, considering it's a 20 land deck with a pretty low curve. So definitely not my favorite hand I've ever seen, but maybe we'll get there. Stormchaser's an alright draw. There's another Legion's End here. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world. Yeah, okay. They had Opt or Mystical Dispute there. I wonder if they brought in Mystical Dispute against us. I don't know if any of the blue cards that they saw in game 1 or 2 would have tipped them off that they might want to be able to fight over our counter magic. We don't have any in the main deck, but we were brought in, I think, 7. So, okay, no play there is really nice for us. This gives us a pretty clear landing area to do whatever we want here. So I'm gonna go blue, red. Okay. guess I could have led with the land because it is possible that they'll play Censor. But they didn't, so lucked out a little bit. Getting our card draw is nice. Cool. It's Light Up the Stage or Soul-Scar Mage here. So Mage or Stage. Not really sure where we're supposed to go with this. I'm going to go with Mage because next turn we can try to fire off Wizard's Lightning and then play Light Up the Stage. And that's 2 pre-combat prowess triggers. And we'll have 2 mana left. Hopefully we can draw a 1 mana spell so that when we attack with the Arcanist, assuming they don't kill it here, we'll be able to play that out of the graveyard. Are they shocking? No, okay, they played Drowned Catacombs. They're just wondering if they're going to tap. Okay, so Hero's Downfall. Yep, taking our Dreadhorde Arcanist makes sense. That is our card advantage engine. All right, so I can Lightning them first, see what's up with this Light Up the Stage. Okay, Spectacle. Also, if we get a land drop off of it, we can use that. Hey, it's another Light Up the Stage. So, triggers, triggers, triggers. If you are playing this deck in paper, make sure to carefully track your triggers, friends. Firmly grasp it. I think we might have just killed them. No, we're going to put them to 1. That is freaking sweet. So they have to kill both our creatures and be able to yeah, okay. Whew. So this deck is pure gasoline in match number 1. Just handling blue black Inverter, except for game 2 where they got the 3-for-1 with Legion's End. So feeling good, cooking along here. And this is, if anyone is looking for decks to prey on Inverter, you definitely want something that can either go under it, like mono or red deck wins, the more aggressive red deck, as Faithless Brewing referred to it, the slim fast red deck rather than the chunky red deck or big red, or something that has disruption and aggressive elements. Now that's kind of trickier to find nowadays. The example I was thinking of from the earlier metagames and from the standard previous was there was green, sort of green aggro deck that was splashing blue for just a tiny bit of counter magic. Things like Spell Pierce, Stubborn Denial, Disdainful Stroke. That kind of deck is reasonable against Inverter, I think, but Inverter is still quite a powerful deck. Thoughtseize Fatal Push is one of the best combination of cards you can just be playing in this format. All right, so match the second, won the die roll. That's what we like to see. So this is a pretty risky hand. Gonna keep it on the play in Pioneer. Get to swing for 3 on turn 2 with the Soul-Scar Mage and hopefully draw a card with it. I guess if there is a blocker, we can just opt instead and try to dig for a burn spell to get it out of the way. Tapped Breeding Pool. Well, that's phenomenal because we're going to go, good lord. All right. So I'm going to Curious Obsession. Get some pants on my boy here. Crack in for tree. I would like to draw land. Yes. That is not a land, but that's okay. It's okay. We're going to be fine. You can get a second Curious Obsession on the next turn. Please do not have... That's fine. So I can crack in for... Okay. So yes. I think I play Swiftspear here. And then I'm going to play Obsession on the Swiftspear as well. So I'm going to swing in for 6. Both of the creatures get a prowess trigger here. And then we're going to swing in for 6. Either of these creatures get blocked by this phantom, it dies. And the other one's still going to get through and draw me a card. So looking pretty good here in game 1. I would really like to draw a Wizard's Lightning at some point. That was not one yet, but it's somewhat unlike... Okay, so they've got a Spell Queller in their hand, like 9 out of 10. So I play Stormchaser Mage here. It probably gets quelled. And then I could swing in and opt during combat and either wipe them out or... Okay. So I'm going to fire off the Soul-Scar Mage and see what happens. If they have a Spell Queller, they're likely to just fire it off here. They did not. Okay, so we're just going to go cracking in with all this, see what happens. Nebelgast Herald. Yeah, that's fine. So it's a 3/2. Sure. Tap my Soul-Scar Mage. That's fine. I'm going to go swinging in with the team here. I think... yeah, depending on how they block here, things can go pretty well for us. The group block the Swiftspear. Sure. So... there's no way I can kill both their creatures. They're doing 3 and 1, so 4 in total. So I don't need to play this opt if I want to kill the Nebelgast. But I think I'd prefer to kill the Supreme Phantom, so I'll leave that one in front. We're just going to play opt during combat here. Boosh, triple prowess trigger, thank you. Okay, and putting our opponent to 5 here. We're going to put that on the bottom. Wild Slash is an excellent draw here. Opponent got a 2 for 1 on that one, but our Curious Obsessions have drawn us a decent number of cards already. We have the Soul-Scar Mage in play now, so our burn spells get to do fancy things. So I'm going to throw a Curious Obsession on my Stormchaser Mage pre-combat. Get a prowess trigger here. And because I don't want them to know what's up, we're going to try to go to combat here. If they play a second Herald, that would be frustrating. Okay, Collected Company means there will be blockers. I'm going to Wild Slash the Herald. So this has an ETB trigger for tapping a creature that your opponent controls. I'm going to kill it now. So depending on what they Collected Company to here, they're pretty priced into double blocking. And yeah, they didn't find anything they liked, so they're just scooping it up there. Okay, let's see if the sideboard guide has a listing for spirits. Yeah, Bant Spirits, cool. So -4 Curious Obsession. Strange considering how much that was an absolute house in that game, but I can imagine that it wouldn't be in game 2. We're bringing in 2 Reckless Rage, Treasure Cruise, and Izzet Staticaster. Staticaster definitely seems like good time. Treasure Cruise if we have to get into a late game, and then 2 Reckless Rage. And yeah, that Reckless Rage definitely makes sense here. They get their toughness up decently high, so definitely want to be able to deal with their squad of medium-sized creatures. It's not great, but Soul-Scar Mage is one of the better creatures we can have in this matchup, so I'm going to keep this. Again, just... this is a playable hand. This hand definitely plays Magic. They're playing a 3-color deck. They definitely have the ability to stumble and die against us, so... see what's up here. Leading on Island. This kind of matchup definitely can go down to life total. So I don't really feel like shocking Steam Vents early if I don't need to. Depending on what I draw here, there's a good chance that I just play tap Steam Vents on turn 2. I think that's what we're going to go with. No. What we're going to do is swing. Basically 0 chance that they're going to block. Yeah. Go through for 1, play Light Up the Stage for Spectacle, see if we can... if we do draw yet another land here, I'm going to play it. Yes, we did. Cool. So Spirebluff's in now. I can Wizard's Lightning now to kill the Supreme Phantom. And pretty interested in just doing that. Just keep them nice and trim on the battlefield. Their lords stack up real quick in a way that even Soul-Scar Mage would have a hard time getting through for us. So one of the big problems we are going to have in this particular game, though, is that we're really flooded on lands. I guess it was almost worth not playing the land from the Light Up the Stage just to get us to being able to attack with Hazoret faster. But that is not the path that I took. So we're here now. So attacking with Soul-Scar Mage. Likely to play a tap land this turn. Yep. Just past the turn. They could have the Rattle Chains here. They do. So I'm going to let Rattle Chains resolve. Triggers go on the stack. And then we're going to Wild Slash down the Rattle Chains. I don't feel like all of their spirits having flash would be fun for me. Mausoleum Wanderer is not really bothering me yet, so I'm going to leave that in play even though I could kill it right now with a Wild Slash. Mausoleum Wanderer, don't bother me none. Kraken in for 1, sure. Crash through. Alright, I'm going to cycle this pre-combat to try to get some more action going here. It is a sorcery, so if we want to have the prowess trigger for combat, got to cast it beforehand. This does mean I'm unable to play Hazoret this turn, but it's not really a big deal because we are decently far away from being able to swing with a Hazoret. Okay, so Nebelgast Herald coming in. Wild Slash can kill that, so I'm just going to fire this off before the Mausoleum Wanderer trigger. And my Soul-Scar Mage at a buff 3/4 is unable to attack. We are working our way through their resources here. There's a good chance they have a collected company in hand because they've been stuck with the 2 and they just got their 4th land. Don't know if I want to fire off this Wizard's Lightning right now. I can do it pre-combat on this turn if I want to. Does mean I won't be able to cast this Hazoret. So I'm going to swing. We go post-combat, light up the stage again. See if we can't shore ourselves up a little bit against their potential. Okay, Spellqueller's fine because we have the Wizard's Lightning, so that's exactly the way we want them using their resources. Just absolute sort of minimum gain there. We're still going to get to light up the stage. Oh, hold on. Did I do the bad thing? I did the bad thing. I absolutely punted that. Got a little too excited about how well that was going for us, and I cast my Wizard's Lightning in response to the Spellqueller trigger. So the way that works is that it attempts to return the creature or the spell before the spell resolves. Before the exile trigger resolves, so you never get your spell back, which is definitely not how you want to do that. That's okay. Still got this Hazoret going on. They don't have enough mana to deal with it, so just gonna start cracking him with this bad Mama Jamma. Mom's home and she's pissed. There's some dragon who showed up and just wrecked up the place, and he had a party or something, and Dog Mom is not pleased. Sweet jackal-headed god she be. So it looks like the spirit player gonna crack back for 2. Okay, so they're just keeping Supreme Phantom on the defensive here. So we can lob. Screwed up. Yeah, okay. Needed a stop there in order to ensure that I could do the thing that I was supposed to do there. So I let myself have 2 cards in hand and went to combat that way. Again, just not used to playing some of these cards, so just unfortunately giving our opponent a chance to get back into this game, which really I shouldn't have been doing, but we're here now, so we're going to make our peace with it. Taking 2 per turn is not so bad. Okay, so activate Hazoret, 1, 2, 3, discard Mountain. And, no, we'll just go to my turn, it's fine. Okay, play Swiftspear, that gets us down to 1 card in hand, good. We still have 1 mystery card for them, or from their perspective. So we're going to go cracking in with everything here. Hopefully we don't get horribly wrecked by a collected company. Feel like I'm just going to let them know, you know what? I don't have anything. Hazoret's coming in. They must not have collected company here because they do still have the Nebelgast Heralds in their deck. And if they could have collected companied at the end of turn there, they would have done so that they could possibly flip out a Herald and tap down my Hazoret. So we are 1 damage away from winning the game at this point. So we just got to draw a spell here. They're only coming in for 3, so I think the Mausoleum Wanderer is going to get thrown under the abyss that is Hazoret. So 1, 2, 3, throwing this at them. Throw the mountain. No, I should have thrown the Spirebluff. I don't think it's really going to matter. I'm going to swing in with everything this turn. They're priced into playing another creature. No. I'm going to respect... No, hold on. They have 3, 4, 5, 6. So if they do have a creature in hand, they have lethal on the next turn. So settle the wreckage. Okay, so lost that game. 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I could top deck a Wizard's Lightning. All right, I'm gonna stay in this. Oh, I should have thrown the land in response to that. Yep, just making misplays all over the place. Not used to playing this kind of proactive thing. So if I draw a... No, we boarded out all the Wild Slashes. So there are some draws in this deck that I could draw right now which would lose us the game. That's one of them. There are a couple of live draws there, but we didn't hit any of those. So let's see. So Swiftspear. Okay, we did leave in some shock, which is that correct? Is that how we were supposed to do that? Here's some. Oh, okay, that was the previous match. So no, we had shocks and we had wild slashes that, if I had not misplayed, would have been live draws there. And there was the previous turn where we straight up didn't attack with Hazoret. So I definitely blew that game entirely. The deck would have won that. I did not. But as long as you notice these things, then you just try to improve in the future. This is really close to being the best hand that we've drawn with this deck, except that Sulfur Falls and Shivan Reef are not friends. I'm going to keep it. We can go turn 1, Swiftspear, turn 2, tapped Sulfur Falls. It is possible we'll draw out of this quickly. Having the Treasure Cruise in our opening hand is not the best, but it does mean we can kind of play a game plan where we just jam and jam and jam and jam. We just throw out everything at them as fast as we can, and okay, this is a better draw anyway. We go crash through here. Hopefully we hit a land that has a basic land type like that. Cool. Now we have access to our Wizard's Lightning. We didn't miss a land drop, and our Sulfur Falls is coming in on a tap next turn. So Spectral Sailor. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't do anything this early in the game. And it is fodder for our Izzet Staticaster. So there is a scenario where we get to completely blow them out in a couple turns here. So Sulfur Falls, great draw. They're on 2 lands. I'm kind of incentivized not to play anything blue in case they did bring in Mystical Dispute. Don't know if that's correct, but okay, so we're going in for 1 here, and then we're going to cast Dreadhorde Arcanist. Still going to have a Wizard's Lightning up here, so if at end of turn they drop something like Rattle Chains, I don't know if I kill Rattle Chains. I don't think I'm going to kill the Rattle Chains, because if they have a Lord, what I want to be able to do is kill the Lord with my Wizard's Lightning, and then be able to ping down the Rattle Chains and the Spectral Sailor with the Staticaster. So basically our game plan right now is rotating around the fact that we know we have an Izzet Staticaster in our hand, and they do not. If I play this crash through, I'm not going to be able to Staticaster this turn, but that's okay. So I think we're just playing Stormchaser here. Spell Queller? Sure. So this time we're going to go, okay, Spell Queller resolves. Takes my spell. Cool. And now I kill it. Do I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. So this does mean that I don't have a way to... does mean that I don't have a way to... What are words? I don't have a way to kill a Lord if they get one, but this turn is pretty great. I'm going to get to crash through with 2 prowess creatures in play, so they really can't block a lot of damage here. Put them to 8. May have missed a land drop there. I did. That's okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Hopefully they do not now have Collected Company up. Although we do almost have enough sort of power in general to blow right through it. And there's a good chance that they will tap down for it, leaving themselves open to get Staticastered. Supreme Phantom makes that untenable. 2 Supreme Phantoms make that an incredibly untenable option. So here's hoping we can get something going here with Crash Through. I would like to draw another burn spell right now. That's another burn spell. Sweet. Crash Through's in the graveyard, so but rather than casting Crash Through this turn, I think I'm gonna shock a Supreme Phantom before combat. Pew. Yeah. Puts the shock in my graveyard for the Arcanist. So then we're going to swing, cast the shock again, kill that same Supreme Phantom. Yep. And that should get things rocking and rolling, rocking and reeling, ba-ba-and, ba-ba, ba-ba-ran. Swiftspear, not a wizard. That is true. Good. Worth pointing out. Thank you, BRC1. You're 100% right. So there's 13 wizards in this deck, something like that. 2 Arcanist, 4 Soul-Scar, 4 of the Stormchaser. Cool. Blocking order here, sure. All good. And then we shock the Rattle Chains. Pew. Zap. And I think this is just lethal. Yeah, that's just lethal. Sweet. So 2, I think both, no, the one lost game in that match was due to pilot error, fully admitted. But I think in match 1 it was just solid. I'm going to hit the washroom real quick, and then we're going to hit the last couple of matches here. Stick around, folks. BRC1, thank you for your input. Stick around if you like. Yeah, we're going to keep rocking and rolling along here. Deck feels great. Alrighty then. Yes, Monastery Swiftspear is monk, not wizard. They're like kung fu wizards with chi energy or whatever. I don't know. I haven't played D&D for a while, so. Alright. Loading up for match number 3. We're 2-0 right now. Played 6 games. One good loss to Misplay, 1 good loss to Inverter. I tried playing the red deck wins deck, the Slim Fast Red, in a league that was not on stream, and that was pretty disastrous. For some reason, it just didn't click with me. Maybe I wasn't mulliganing aggressively enough. Maybe it just wasn't my kind of deck. But this feels super great. We like the Curious Obsession package with a bunch of small haste creatures. So we're going to keep this. As it was pointed out to me, this is not a wizard, but luckily we have 2 copies of Soul-Scar Mage in this opening draw. So we have 2 creatures we can play plus a Wizard's Lightning. That should get us to land number 2. Being flooded on spells is definitely not the worst thing in the world in this deck. I think we could fairly consistently win games on 2 lands. Assuming our opponent doesn't go way over the top of us, which right now is not a big thing in Pioneer. with the major archetypes being Breach, Inverter, and Delirium. So no land yet, but no sign of weakness to our opponent, just Mountain Soul-Scar. They're opting away, checking out their options. They did mull to 6, that was an option. Could have mulled to 5, didn't take that option, but they opt to opt, so they definitely have a swamp in hand. Played the island though. It's cool. After my misclick in a previous game, I am not coming after anyone for goofs like that. I'm gonna be fairly ignorant of a sweeper. I guess the correct sequence here is Soul-Scar, Soul-Scar, but we're seeing a push. We're seeing a push on my not summoning sick Soul-Scar Mage. We definitely want to keep a Soul-Scar around most of the time if we can. So didn't expose the third one here. It's not likely that they're playing something like Legion's End in the main deck. Oh, that was the loss against Inverter. The 3-for-1 Legion's End. Oh, that was well timed from our opponent. All right, Dreadhorde can't currently flash anything back, so I'm just gonna fire off Stormchaser here. We're gonna crack in for 6. No, we're just gonna crack in for 3 here. Play down the Soul-Scar Mage, and hopefully we can pick up a spell we can cast next turn. This is probably going for the Stormchaser. Going for the Soul-Scar again. Yeah, makes sense. Soul-Scar has the most effective ability as the game goes on. If they're holding on to an Inverter right now and they have Thassa's Oracle follow-up, we definitely want to keep this Wizard's Lightning. Actually, it doesn't matter much at all in that situation. Steam Vents is fine here. We're definitely going to have a Wizard, so that's fine. We're just going to crack in for 3. Little unfortunate that we haven't drawn a 1 CMC spell yet. Another push. There's this murderous cut. Nope. Right. 3 Soul-Scar Mages. 3 pushes that were fatal. That's alright. We got Dreadhorde Arcanist. Hopefully we can pick up an Opt or a Crash Through. Get some card flow going. Maybe a... Oh boy. It's not double black. Oh, this is going to be Dig. Dig is not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it's Dig. Alright. They are tapping down for it. Main phase Dig for some reason. They were on the play, so maybe they are looking for the 5th land. Maybe they're really concerned about being able to combo in a single turn. Not sure, but at minimum we can crack in for 5 next turn. Put them to 12, then we put them to 7. It's not great. So here's hoping get the good stuff happening here. Oh, they're in the tank on this one, huh? Alright. It's gonna be fine. Just gonna kill him dead. We're totally just gonna kill him dead. It's gonna be great. We're gonna kill him. We're gonna be dead. We're gonna kill him dead. Alright. Dig your time, friend. Dig your time. It won't save you. They're looking for the 4th fatal push, perhaps? Spirebluff is not the greatest draw I have ever seen. We're just going to crack in for this here. If we do not draw any spell, and their next play is Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, I would really like to be able to kill their Jace. So that is why I'm not firing off the spell. Opt is a terrific card to have here, so I'm going to fire that off pre-combat. Hopefully they don't actually have the 4th fatal push, because I would really like to be able to flash this back with my Dreadhorde Arcanist. This cut has got to be cut. Heroes Downfall. Well, can't win them all. At least Opt gives us 2 shots at a non-creature or non-land card. Dreadhorde Arcanist seems okay here. So good old Motobug coming in for my opponent, nice and hot, the way we like it. The spiciest of lightning. I always like my lightning spicy. Just get some red chili flakes on there, you know. Serve it with a nice Chianti. By Chianti, I mean a craft brewed IPA. Do have Lethal Plus on the battlefield right now because the Arcanist will flash back the Opt, give my Stormchaser and my Swiftspear +1/+1 each. But even without that, we are very close to lethal. Okay, we get the Opt, cast it. Let's not misclick that. Trigger, trigger. Resolve my Opt. I would like a spell. You know, I was thinking of something like a Bolt, but that'll be fine. That'll be okie doke. So if they don't have a counter here, they're just dead, or another piece of removal. I think if they had the removal, they would have killed the Dreadhorde pre-combat. So is they dead? You gonna take your 7? Yeah, you're taking your 7. You're just being kind of salty about it. Oh, maybe not. Brazen Borer? Something? Anything? Bueller? Bueller? Okay, we got him. 2 Inverter players, 2 game 1 wins. Alright, so the sideboard was all the blue cards come in, except for Mystical Dispute? Or sorry, Treasure Cruise? No, I think they all come in. So, yeah. All the blue cards come... No, didn't miss it. Dimir Inverter. That was the same sideboarding. So all the blue cards come in. Dispute, Stroke, Spell Pierce, and Treasure Cruise. And 7 burn spells going out. 3 Shack. And 4 Wild Slash. Which, by the way, the best shock you can play is Onslaught. No argument. Because this shock is targeting a Psychotog, which is just absolutely the best play of the era. The only thing better than shocking the Psychotog was if you were the Psychotog player and you blocked a Goblin Piledriver. Those both were just A+ plays that everyone should know about from a historical perspective. Onslaught was a wonderful world when it was teamed up with Odyssey. And of course, Onslaught Mirrodin, even more fun. The greatest standard of all time, Mirrodin. Especially once that Darksteel set came out, it was just incredibly interesting and fair gameplay. I think the greatest thing you could say about it was how fair it was. And maybe this match we're actually going to see some Mystical Disputes, Spell Pierce, or Disdainful Stroke. The previous time we boarded like this, the deck just didn't give us a single sideboard card. But that also means we didn't draw any of the shocks or wild slashes that would have been less than great in this matchup. Less than great. Pioneer has been the most hyperbolic format that I've ever played in 15 years of playing Magic. And that is to say, the decks that are really, really good quality top tier decks one week can plummet to being almost unplayable the next. It happened to Chonky Red, happened to what was it, Green Black seasons past. It was like a good, like really reasonable tier 2 deck. This is a fine hand that plummeted all the way off the map very quickly. So here's hoping that this Izzet Wizards deck sticks around because I really like it. This is sweet. It's right from the get-go. Taylor Swiftspear, gonna go in there, mix it up. You get pushed. Yeah, good for you. Keeping a hand with interaction against the burn deck. Touche. Well played, opponent. Well played. Definitely against a human being or otherwise of gratuitous skill. Portentous, perhaps. I don't know. Just digging deep for words here. All right, we're going to throw down the double Soul-Scar Mage. Hopefully this opponent does not have the sweet tech that the previous one did of the Legion's End 3-for-1U. Please don't Legion's End me, Brosephine, Brobot, or They. Bros, I guess? Bros or Brosephines? I don't know. Didn't work it out. We just jumping in. Alright, Stormchaser. So again, kind of just jamming here and assuming that they're not going to Wrath us. It's not a super common thing for the Inverter deck to have. So if they do, they're getting a 2-for-1 on the Wrath, which is not too bad. Plus we have our Hazoret in hand already again. Why not Soul-Scar Mage T1 versus Swiftspear? So they immediately had a Fatal Push, and I guess I was slightly more attached to having Soul-Scar Mage in play. Although when I really think about it in this matchup, I don't really care about any of their creatures all that much, so probably right. Should have just been... No, well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, could have been Swiftspear. Sorry, should have been Soul-Scar Mage. It was more efficient for damage because the Swiftspear can come down later with haste. I think I was just living through the traumatic, like, why would I give them the opportunity to Legion's End me? But I guess they were going to get to Legion's End me eventually either way, so... No, Soul-Scar Mage T1 is probably the absolute correct draw. Thanks for the input. I don't play a lot of aggressive decks, so sometimes the sequencing, I'm just a little laissez-faire when there are good heuristics to be used. They took the opt in the face of getting hit here for 12. So I don't know exactly what that says about their hand, other than they probably don't have a Thassa's Oracle that they want to play. Because the Thassa's Oracle would absorb Wizard's Lightning. Like, maybe they don't. No, but that doesn't make any sense. No. I don't know what they're doing with that, but I'm sure we'll see soon enough. So this gives them the opportunity to dig through time if they wish. It's a good chance that's what the play is here. Yeah. I can dig it. John Shaft. So we can jam into them for 12 after this. We'll see what I draw on my turn, but there's a good chance that we're just supposed to jam for 12 while their shields are down. They don't have a blocker, which means once we get up to enough lands to play this Hazoret, maybe we'll be a little bit closer to killing them. Like to go in the tank on their dig through times, that's for sure. Alrighty. Alright, Swiftspear definitely coming down here, and then we Wizard's Lightning counts for an extra point. And I believe that means we have or are very close to lethal on the next turn. So hopefully they don't have Inverter and Oracle in hand right this minute. Although we're darn close to being able to kill them through an Inverter here. So let's see if they want to rock our world. Just turn it upside down, baby, right round. You got it? Yeah, you got it. Here's the Inverter. So we need to draw Burn Spell, which we have less of in the deck post-board. Super. Well. Come on. Oh, don't you dare Fatal Push me. Aw, really? Well, that's a little tough. Alright, so gonna fire off this lightning, and then we can swing, and then it doesn't matter, so I guess I just pass the turn. So maybe they went for the combo without having it, and they thought I'd just scoop. It's possible. Hello, Macus Twitch. I don't know who you is, but hi. We got a whole 6 people in here, which is sweet. Don't normally get so many wonderful human beings hanging out from the Twitchverse. Alright, so they hit us with Thought Erasure, so they even have the insurance. So their hand right now is the wonderfully stacked Dig Through Time and Thassa's Oracle. And there it is. And we will eat our loss. Again, post-board game, We drew no copies of any of our sideboard cards, so hopefully going into game 3, we can be slightly more lucky than that. It's you, Marcus. Well, Marcus, I don't actually... There was only one Marcus that I'd known in the last decade of my life. She's a trumpet player at university with me, so I don't think you are them. Maybe you are. It's possible. Marcus or Marcus. Hey, it's frickin' Marcus, you know? He's hanging out here. Why, am I supposed to know you? Did I meet you in a tournament? If I did, I'm really sorry. Used to play at ANC. Legacy. Oh my god, I do know another Marcus, and it's totally you. Yeah, I know who you are. How you doing, man? How you doing, fellow human? Alright, this is not the greatest of hands. We're going to keep it. We've got lands, we've got Stormchaser Mage, we've got Curious Obsession, which is new, but we'll see. It's all good. Well, I'm glad. I'm so sorry that I did not remember who you are. And I'm glad you're great. Glad you are great. This deck has been going super good. So, just here hanging out on the Twitch world and making some YouTube content, Twitch content before I go out on my next cruise ship contract. That's going to be in about 5 weeks, which I guess unforgettable. Listen, friend. When I was working there, I saw an awful lot of faces. Plus, I normally didn't work on the Legacy night on the Wednesday. So, please do not have a removal spell. Don't do it. Have a heart. You son of a doodle. Alright, well, opt to try to find a creature is better than crash through to find a creature. Wizard's Lightning's not that great in this matchup, so I guess I'll just... Oh, boy, this is going to be a tough one. Alright, we're going to pass the turn here. It doesn't feel great, but I guess sticking with the one creature draw with a Curious Obsession in hand was a little like mulling the 6 if they had the Fatal Push. And, yeah. However, they haven't seen any interaction from us yet in any of the games, and by that I mean Mystical Dispute or anything like that, so hopefully they do something like fire off a Thought Erasure here, and we get to chomp down on that bad boy. Blue, Thassa's Oracle. A defensive Thassa's Oracle. I guess that's fine. Yeah. I mean, the downside of this is that, like, even if I counter it, they get to put it in their graveyard, and they get to, when they invert, it will be in their remaining deck. I don't know what cards I have in hand right now, so I'm okay with this. I'm not thrilled, but I'm okay with it. Stormchaser. Well, that's alrighty. So, question I gotta ask myself here is, what do I think the odds are of drawing another blue-red land? So, I'm gonna go flip over the deck list. This is something wonderful you can do here. So we have 3 in play. So that means I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, 13 in the deck, and I've got 3 so far on this draw. So I've got 10 left. I'm just gonna take the gamble here. I get to go through for 2 in the air. I get to draw a card. They're not likely to invert this turn, and if they do, I kind of have outs, so feels like a decent risk, decent reward play here. Did not get rewarded for it in a big way, but let's see if we can dodge a piece of removal here. And blue, another Oracle? Do they want to devote for 4? Is that what we see? Yeah, okay. Okay. So they're setting themselves up for a draw. Maybe they have opt into Fatal Push, or possibly Murderous Cut, although I haven't seen Murderous Cut from these decks yet tonight, so maybe it's not in vogue anymore. Though I thought it would be in the next copy of Glamour, so I don't know. Alright, Kraken in for 1, sure. So as much as possible, there it is, of course it's there. I guess I didn't have the mana to counter it anyway, I wouldn't be able to dispute a Fatal Push anyway, so I'm just gonna fire off Soul-Scar Mage here and pass pass the turn. So again, as much as possible, we don't want to kill these Thassa's Oracles, but probably going to be priced into it. That's super unfortunate. I guess I could fire off the Dispute, but then they just pay for it and they get a 2-for-1. So while this is a little unfortunate, we're just going to have to eat it. Eat the Thoughtseize. It's like 9 out of 10 they take the Mystical Dispute. The other 1 out of 10 is maybe they take the Hazoret. If they're not ready to combo, then Hazoret can kill them rather quickly. But then again, they don't want to leave themselves open to Mystical Dispute on the dig through time they're likely to cast, so we'll see. After I lose this Dispute, okay, lost the Hazoret. That's interesting. Fabled Passage. Alright, so they don't... Oh, maybe they're looking to just have backup on their dig when they get there. Alright, well they've got 6 points of toughness on the ground, so we're not likely to be able to get through that. We lost the Hazoret, so that doesn't feel great. Shocking that in for no particularly good reason. I guess I'm just playing badly now. And drawing it up. Well, Stormchaser's alright, I guess. Post-combat, it's not the best, but this is going to get us to our light up the stage, so maybe we'll get something going here. Get something cooking up real nice. Alright. So, not incentivized to swing with my Soul-Scar, just going to come in the air. Pew, 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 pew. Downside of light up the stage with the post sideboard configuration is the fact that I can flip counter magic here and they will see it hanging out. That's cool. Didn't matter anyway. Just flip 2 mountains. I guess those are 2 mountains I'm not drawing. So could be worse. They have dig here? No. Okay. If they do have dig through time, they're going to be smart. Not fire it off into my Mystical Dispute. Which they know is in my hand. Passing the turn is not the worst thing that could happen here. Swiftspear is not a great draw, but it's a card, I suppose. I actually can't swing into those Oracles right now with my ground creatures, so I'm just going to keep chipping away at them in the air. It's possible this Mystical Dispute is kind of stonewalling them on going for Inverter, because if they invert, they won't be able to do much afterwards. So the 1 Mystical Dispute can really go the distance sometimes. So I'm going to poke them again in the air, cast light up the stage, and let's see how she goes. Okay, triggers. They have a counter? Don't know what kind of counter they play that they could use here, but it's at least something. Alright, we got Soul-Scar. We got Swiftspear. So, it's kind of pushing me in the direction. Yeah. So there's going to be a time soon enough where we're going to be able to swing around these Thassa's Oracles and maybe get the win on a turn where maybe we do kill the Oracles, but we also get to get through for lethal. So, but I can't really swing. Well, no, I can start swinging now. So I get through for 1 in the air and 3 on the ground if they want to kill one of my creatures, or 1 in the air and 2 on the ground if they want to just block 1 and 1. So I think they're at 11, so we deal 3 and then 2 and then 1. So it's not really worth it yet, but if we draw some kind of proactive spell in there anywhere, we'll be in a decent place. Deep Friar, just hanging out over there. Is this Fatal Push again, finally? They only drew 1 so far this game, so they've been fairly unlucky on their pushes. It's a Thoughtseize. Well, I can't cast the Dispute on that at all, so I guess they're just going to get to resolve their Inverter here, aren't they? Or another Thassa's Oracle? The 3rd Thassa's Oracle? That'd be the feat. Wouldn't be a hand, it would be a feat. Oh, they're digging. Oh, because, yep. They finally got through the mystical dispute, so now they can dig. Which is fairly likely to get them another fatal push or set them up for the win. So we really need to get something going soon. Curious Obsession would be okay. We found both our light up the stages. I think we brought in Treasure Cruise. Treasure Cruise would obviously be the best possible draw in the entire deck. But we shall see. This is going to be the third Oracle now to really set up. Aether Gust, my Stormchaser Mage. Well, that's just so rude. I can't. Well, it's going on the bottom because I really can't afford to keep it. But my goodness, is that just the rudest. And then that is not even a card that I can play. All right. Well, hopefully they play around me having counter magic or something like that, because I want to say we're a little flooded over here, but it might be actually quite statistically average. There's one land in exile, so 1, 2 plus 6 I have in play, so 8. So we're close to half of the lands in our deck, and we've only gone through 21 cards, so a little bit flooded, but here comes the Inverter, so pretty guaranteed dead either now or next turn. The only thing that might give them pause is the fact that we drew a new card. So, and they do have 5 cards in their deck, so if I can kill one of their Oracles, kind of gives us a little wiggle room. So, let's see a great chain of draws here. That is not a great chain of draws here. All right, well, sometimes you can't have it all. You try, but you can't have it all. Apt, okay. So that gets them down to 4 cards, so I guess they're playing around my Wizards Lightninging their Oracle. They wanted to pick up their Thoughtseize to guarantee that their Jace resolves. Got it. Got it. Got it. I got it. Oh, or the Oracle. Yeah, I guess I could have had another counterspell for Oracle. I'm not sure what, but alright, so tough loss to Inverter. Did not see enough of our sideboard cards in slots where we needed them, and just a little flooded. But that's alrighty. Still 2-1, heading into match number 4. Still, deck feels good. Feels like it definitely can take games and matches off of Inverter. And then our matchup against Spirits was felt pretty good. If it wasn't for the pilot error, I think we would have 2-0'd it. So here we go, charging along. Definitely feels like a deck I would feel I could play multiple leagues of this, and I would feel like I have a shot against most of the meta. I feel like maybe mono red is not the best matchup. Maybe blue red in Soul, although it won the GP in Nagoya, and I think there was 3 or 4 other in Soul decks in the top 8, or maybe that was the PT. I have to go check, but definitely something sweet happening in this deck. It just feels a little bit more fair than the Scissors deck too. There's just a lot of decks that Soul Flare and the Ensoul deck definitely have this thing where a lot of the time in game 1 the opponent just straight up can't deal with your indestructible creature, and that doesn't feel good. Alright, won the die roll, so that's a great place to start. We have 2 creatures that we can attack with, plus a light up stage. We have 2 Curious Obsessions and no blue source, but with the light up the stage, if my Swiftspear bites it on turn 1, we're going to be in not the greatest place. So let's hope that it gets there and this Goblin Warchief is not the death of me. Lalau Wooba. Oh, don't do it. Thoughtseize me. Oh, thank you. Thank you, opponent. I respect you. I mean, you're probably going to take my light up the stage, which is going to suck, but gotta run. Really enjoyed this stream. Oh, well, thank you so much, BRC1. And if you ever come back, you bop that follow button. Get yourself over to my YouTube and check out all the stuff I do. Been running 8-ish leagues per week right now. Well, that was a horrible misplay. So I played my Mountain pre-combat because I'm a genius. not pre-combat. I played my mountain first, so king of bad sequencing over here. Maybe we're against the mono black aggro deck here though, so possibly dodged the bad play or the possibly dodged walking into a 2-for-1. Not really. We would have gotten to draw a card last turn, so it was definitely correct to sequence correctly last turn and get the card draw, but maybe this is the mono black aggro deck with a really controlling draw. So hopefully I can pick up a burn spell on the next turn, or they play a creature that can't block. I really hope they don't have Murderous Rider right here. They had Murderous Rider right there. You know, I explicitly... Alright, so we're in a really rough spot because I am playing quickly and I'm not super experienced with these decks. So I should have a Curious Obsession draw. Oh, jeez, that can block. And it has to... Wow! The second Thoughtseize. I mean, I guess they're going to 10 for it, but... Third Thoughtseize. God bless it. Oh, Canada. If a player lost 4 or more life and they lost 4 or more life, well, that's just rude. Luckily, the designer of this deck included a copy of Hazoret the Fervent, which at this point is probably our only out, so good luck to us to top deck the indestructible house that is Dog Mom. Because that is really the only way I can imagine that we get through this one. Woof! Woof! Yeah, that's definitely not the best draw. This is gonna hurt. And they gain 2 life. Yep, Gifted Aetherborn. Well, at least they're crushing us in a definitive fashion. Yeah, Taylor Swiftspear not gonna do it there. So going into sideboarding, we'll look at our good friend the sideboard guide. I know mono black aggro's on there. 4 Curious Obsession and 2 Wizard's Lightning out. Sure. So Obsessions and 2 Lightning. Sure, I guess that makes sense. A lot of their creatures are smaller with 2 toughness. And then we get Rage, Whirler, Staticaster, and Cruise. So Whirler, Rage, Staticaster, Cruise. Yeah, so we're banking on this being a grindier matchup, and most of the things that we're bringing in gives us some nice 2-for-1s, as well as Chainwhirler being able to wipe out a lot of their 1 toughness creatures, depending on how that all comes together. Soul-Scar Mage, Soul-Scar Mage and Staticaster, as well as Soul-Scar Mage and Chainwhirler, are super good friends. So definitely got some sweet synergies going on here. Alright, just talking to one of my teammates. I might forego the modern deck this evening in favor of screen share streaming with my teammates for the face-to-face open. The Toronto face-to-face open, or Open Plus, I believe it is. It's going to be a Team Trios tournament, so we're playing Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. I'm either playing Pioneer or Modern. We haven't figured it out yet. All right. It's a bit of a interesting, slow, controlling hand here, but we do have the sick combo of Reckless Rage and Dreadhorde Arcanist. So I think, based on the aggressive nature of my opponent's deck, we're going to lead on Steam Vents, tapped. And just progress through this game at a slightly slower pace here. Really hoping I don't get turn 1 Thoughtseize this game. Yeah, cool. There's a very good chance, of course, that they still have the Fatal Push. If they didn't have the Thoughtseize, they're pretty much guaranteed to have the Fatal Push, but this is the best play I could make, so I'm going to make it. And we are definitely the control deck post-board. Of course, every game is going to be different. Doomblade. Actual, factual Doomblade. Well, yeah, that's definitely a thing. So if they swing with their Mutavault, unfortunately I don't actually have a burn spell that can kill it. Dusk Legion Zealot. Alright, so they switched to a bit of a grindier setup as well. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to fire off my Staticaster into just the Dusk Legion, so I'm gonna opt. I'm gonna opt to opt. Reckless Rage on top is not useful right now. Wizard's Lightning is considerably better, so I'm gonna play the tapped Spirebluff there. Maybe that was a little impulsive. I probably should consider the fact that I might want to play Staticaster and Reckless Rage, but probably going to be okay with that. Okay. Gonna take our 1 here. Donk. It's 19 all here. And this beautiful game number 4, or match number 4. Just assuming that they have the next piece of removal, I'm going to sit on this. I really want to get the discount on my Wizard's Lightning. I think if I don't, we're going to be in really rough shape. So now I'm able to play Staticaster, Wizard's Lightning, and Reckless Rage all in one go. So we'll see if they start getting aggressive here. Looks like they're gonna. They just swing with these 2 and they don't pump the Knight. I'm pretty incentivized to just take it. 3, 2, Dusk Legion Zealot. Well, that's fine because I have the Staticaster, so I'm going to fire it off in response and get the ping here, the dual ping, possibly before they have another piece of removal in their hand that they're going to draw with the Dusk Legion. So that puts them on. They've spent 2 cards to draw 2 cards, so they're card neutral right now, and it's likely they're going to have to 1-for-1 my Staticaster. And they don't have anything to do about it. I don't need to fire off this Reckless Rage or the Wizard's Lightning yet, so I'm going to hold on to them. That is a phenomenal draw that I really would like to use next turn. So I'm going to fire off this Crasher to get in my yard. So I have 5 mana, 3 cards in bin. So the way the math works is that even if I'm playing 1 mana spells, it doesn't get me closer to casting Treasure Cruise. So I am going to set up to cruise next turn. I guess having Treasure Cruise in my deck and my opponent playing Thoughtseize effects was incentive to be firing off my spells earlier. There's a Swift End. I wonder if I'm supposed to Lightning. No, I'm never supposed to Lightning Man Staticaster. What I am going to do is use the Reckless Rage to kill the Knight of the Ebon Legion, because if I don't have a creature, I can't cast it at all. Plus getting it in the bin for my friend Dreadhorde Arcanist is worth doing. Yeah, and then if they play the Murderous Rider, I have 3 mana open to hard cast a Wizard's Lightning and kill it. Potentially they also boot up a Mutavault here and start cracking in with that. I can Wizard's Lightning that bad boy down. Murderous Rider's fine. Got the removal spell for it. And thank goodness they did not have Thoughtseize. I wonder if they bore them out. It's possible. I don't know why they would, but maybe we just got a little bit lucky there. So because I drew that, I'm going to play Stormchaser Mage first. Treasure Cruise is going to cost me a total of 3. I'm just going to dread... Oh, okay. Well, Cruise... Cruise costs 8. I'm an idiot. And also... No, I did tap my mana correctly. All right. So I'm going to play Swiftspear here. Very, very flooded, but hopefully we will be able to make it through this. I wonder if they're going to boot up a Mutavault to block. They did not. Okay. Cool beans. They are also quite flooded, although they do play... That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. They do play Mutavaults, so them flooding is not as bad as us flooding. Knight is also fine here. Though they had a good look-see at our hand there, so... Alright, Crash Through is a good draw. So... Steam Vents is not a great one. So if I attack, I can boot up both Mutavaults. I can kill... Alright, so it really depends on how they block. I don't know if I'm supposed to attack here, but I'm just going to pretend like I still have the pressure here. Pretend like I'm still in the beatdown. They have another burn spell. Pumping the Night. Alright, so we just lightning that. Yeah. And then go through on their dome. Didn't matter if they blocked before or after, because my creature had trample. Again, we're kind of in the Hazoret waiting room in this match right now, especially because we already drew and cast our Treasure Cruise. So, looks like they're flooding almost as much as we are. And they... what the hell? Something zombie themed? Oh my god. Yeah, that was sick. Post-board Champion of Dusk. Yeah. Wow. That was gross. So they drew 3 and lost 3 life there. So I guess I'm on the burn 'em out plan, which is not looking particularly good here. Apologize, my voice is getting a little husky here. Getting a little dried out. Oh, no way. Okay. So, oh, they're going to sacrifice. Oh, shoot. Wow, we are so screwed now. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so it's like Hazoret or bust, I guess. And even the Hazoret's not going to be really good. So, Mono Black Aggro just putting on display why they are one of the best decks in the format. Are they actually playing... They might just be playing the Vampire version. That's funny because, yeah, I bet you that sideboard is for the regular version. And the Vampire version has a different matchup spread. Yeah, that's worth pointing out. That's, again, pilot error. So another mountain here. We're just way too flooded, way too behind, so I'm going to scoop out of here. So dropping to 2 and 2. Tough loss against Inverter, and then really looks like Mono Black Vampires has our number. But we're on the burrito bubble, so we can still get our money back, get us a chest on top of it. This is one of the quickest leagues I've ever played. It's kind of cathartic to just point a bunch of burn spells at my opponent's head. Just pew, 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 pew. Maybe this is why the burn players are always so relaxed. That's not true. Best burn player I know is very, very tense when they play. Not tense, just like does not look like they're having any fun. Very spiky. Oh, there we go. All right. Alrighty then. Come on. All right. Good draw? Yeah, that's a good draw. Definitely one of our better draws. No turn 1 creature is not the best, but turn 1 Thoughtseize. All right. Well, I guess we're losing our Stormchaser Mage. Yup. Well, that's... Yeah, I'm going to shock that, and I'm going to opt at the end of their turn. Guess we really need creatures to get us going. The one thing about this deck is, again, being unfamiliar with playing these kind of decks, I guess you need to draw the combination of creatures and burn spells. So I'm probably not mulliganing aggressively enough for the combination. This being Inverter, this is of course a really, really bad place to be in the game with no pressure on heading into their turn 3. But my other option was to go like shock, light up the stage, hope we flip some creatures. So opponent firmly in the driver's seat. Shock. Don't need another one of those. Light up the stage. Also didn't need another one of those, but I'll take it, I guess. So we're going to fire off shock here. Cool. Gonna fire off the first light up the stage. Hopefully, if it flips a land, then we get to use that. Censor. Yeah, well, of course. It's fine. We still have another land drop. We still have another light up. So Of course. So it didn't flip land. But I guess that's kind of alright because we already made our land drop for that turn. So if they have Inverter into Oracle here, though, we are just dead. We have no ability to fight back. So turn 5 combo deck gets to turn 5 combos. That's also really bad. So, yeah, no. Can't win them all, but you'd like to win some of them. All right, Light Up Sage says until the end of your next turn. All right, so I have Wizard's Lightning and Wild Slash. It doesn't feel great to 2-for-1 myself on it, but I think it's entirely possible that if I don't kill the Jace right now, we're just going to lose. So, going to try taking this line. Does not feel good, but I think we're priced into it at this point. Because if they play Inverter there, they win on the spot. The downside is they can just play Inverter. I let that resolve. I should have opted. I guess, well, yeah. With my last mana, opting is not super attractive. Oh, push. Great. So we have nothing going on against the Splinter Twin deck. Well, I guess I could draw a 1-1. Well, everything seemed to be coming together really nicely for those first 2 matches, but these next 2 have been a little bit more hairy. A little bit more hairy, Elefante. Yeah, I think I'm done on this game. I don't want to be, but the graveyard's pretty massive, I guess. They're at 14. That's so much life still, and there's a good chance they're going to hit a dig through time reasonably soon. So my synergy deck not really doing it against the Splinter Twin. Enjoying the stream. I would be interested to hear your thoughts on potential changes. Shadow Caesar. Well, what are you? Which changes? Pioneer changes? We talking? Shadow Caesar. Sure, it's Shadow Caesar. They didn't mill me. They did. Huh. Alrighty. Or potential changes on this deck. Or I guess are the other option. Soul-Scar Mage. Get him! Get him, you fiery wizard! Dig through time. That's, yeah. To this deck, if you were to keep playing it. I don't know. I don't have a great feel for it yet. It seems pretty great as is. I just don't know if I'm mulliganing to the right kind of hands. I don't know. I just don't know enough about it yet. It feels generally pretty great. It's just also one of those decks that, you know, if I don't have Curious Obsession, if I don't have the right number of light up, that's a second dig through time. If I don't have the right number of light up the stages, of which there are only 2, then I really don't have a lot of ways to gain card advantage. So you're hedging on, all right, I got to draw about 3 lands in a game, and then the right combination of creatures and burn spells. So it's just something where sometimes those pieces just don't come together. Generally speaking, the decks that I've played in the past are like the Inverter deck. The Inverter deck is too good for me to want to play right now in its current form. I like playing decks where the cards have a little bit more individual power. So the Sultai Delirium deck is what I'm all about. Like, that's exactly my kind of deck to play, where you have a lot of versatility, there's a lot of lines. I like the feel smart decks, and this deck is just, you just gotta hope all your pieces come together in the right order, in the right mixture sometimes. And there's plays you can make to optimize that, but at the end of the day, the thrill of playing decks like this is when your deck is kind of firing on a decent amount and their deck is kind of firing on a decent amount, and then the interesting decisions you're making are, when do I cast this spell? How quickly do I try to go for the kill? This is an unkeepable hand. We have 2 mountains, 3 blue spells, and Wizard's Lightnings that are going to cost us 3, so we got to ship that. Feels bad against the Thoughtseize deck, but they also mulliganed. I'm going to keep this one. It's only got 1 creature, so it's not great, but it does have 2 lands. I think I'm going to ditch the Wizard's Lightning, which feels weird, but if our Stormchaser Mage gets to survive, then we're going to be in an okay spot. So they only mulled to 6. Am I incentivized to play this Crasher? I think I am. So things to remember post board is now we have a copy of Treasure Cruise in our deck. So do want to try to make sure to fill up the yard reasonably fast for that. Hopefully they don't have Mystical Dispute in their hand right here and get to blow us out, because if they do, I don't have a second creature. Cool. That is superb. They're going to have an Opt, most likely. Hopefully they don't find Thoughtseize or Push, because both would be kind of rough for us. No removal spell. I have suspicions, but you know what? With this hand, just jamming into this. Why? Okay. So this is why I really loathe playing decks like this, because like I was 100% priced into making that play there. I think. I mean, I guess the other option was to swing and then light up the stage, but that doesn't. It doesn't feel like the play to win line against that deck. So we're just going to go main phase, light up the stage. Their version is playing Censor, so I probably should have gone pre-light up land. Okay, they had Drown anyway. So this is the third Inverter matchup in this match, by the way, which feels just not great. All right, so I'm going to fire off the opt-in response this time. All right, we top deck the mountain, which means I get to kind of blow out, quote unquote, their Thought Erasure, but it also means we're on absolutely nothing. So they are in a tremendously good spot. We draw Curious Obsession. That's not good at all with no creature. We do have 4 Swiftspears and 3 more Stormchasers. That's a Jace. Yeah. And they milled us again? Okay. So, wow. Just not coming together at all, huh? All right. Yeah. Oh, they hit themselves on that one. Okay, they must have picked up a dig through time. So, opt. Think, yeah, because of the way they did that. So, I have a Disdainful Stroke in my deck. So, I guess I'm opting. Okay, so clearly should have done that main phase 1, but then they would get to dig and look for the removal or the counter, so I don't know if that was correct. I just feel so behind in this game. I think I'm just making sloppy bad decisions. So, bit of an unpleasant way to end this league, but is what it is. Yep, that's the game win for them. So, ended 2-3, 3 matches against Inverter, I believe it was. So Pioneer, oof, felt really, really good in the first 2 matches. Obviously because we were winning, but we were winning because the deck was doing what it was supposed to do. We were drawing the right combination of creatures and spells, and it was even a little bit forgiving when I was making a few misplays. In regards to Shadow Caesar's comment, I don't know what changes I would make to this deck. I think having the linear game plan in game 1 is fine. I think you obviously, well, not obviously, but you should come up with a game plan that is slightly different for black vampires than mono black aggro, which obviously is on me for using a sideboarding guide. Usually like to just sort of sideboard in the moment. I'll think about sideboarding outside of a league, outside of matches, so that I have a general plan. But yeah, so it was a blast to try something different, throw this up on the YouTube, and I got to check in with my teammates. I might be back in a few minutes with the modern deck that I listed there, or I might be doing some screen sharing with my teammates. So anyone who's sticking around, anyone who's checking us out on YouTube, thanks for checking it out. Anyone who's sticking around the stream, I'll be back in just a few minutes with something. Alrighty.